Lord in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, power, and glory forever. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Saying before we test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all? I forgot to bring the card. Oh, I bought it. It's in my car, but I didn't grab my car. Guys, that's all I can say. I just think it's funny. You're probably like saying, why did I ask this woman to be president? Here's what's funny is you just making me feel like I'm like it's okay. You're in good company. You're in good company. I know. Work. I went and bought it, before my first meeting that I had today. So if I pop out for a minute, Matt, go take offense to it. I might run across the road real quick.
It's real hard to offend me.
Okay. You might change your tune by the time you're done. The first thing, the Salvation Army bell ringers, I'll send out a reminder. There's still a couple spots that aren't filled, but I'm sure, there's a couple, yes, but there's a couple hours that, that aren't, we're going a good many, pretty much a whole day. So I'll send out the reminder of what time that you signed up for. I do have a card for Bill Harris, who's going to be 96 years old on the 30th. I thought it would be nice for us to send him a card. His daughter had asked on Facebook, said that she thought that he would appreciate cards. So the other thing, Katrina is going to talk to us a second, if everybody can hear her on there, about the chamber toy drive this year.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So every year the Marshall County Chamber does the annual tree gala where businesses or community members decorate a tree. And normally we have a night of where everyone comes together and there's food and drinks and you can bid on those trees. We are doing a little bit differently, like everything else for the chamber. It will be all virtual this year. And normally when we do have this event, there's a different charity every year that a portion of the tree sales go to. So this year, there's not a charity that we're selecting, but we're going to be doing a toy drive instead. So we are collecting toys to give to the Salvation Army. We will be collecting those from pretty much now until November 13th is when it will go to. The drop-off places for those toys are West Banco and Moundsville, the Marshall County Commission, Main Street Bank in Moundsville, and the Chamber office. So Stacy and I are both on that committee, and we had discussed this morning that maybe the Rotary might be interested in donating some of the toys towards this drive. So we would just wanted it to maybe bring it to everyone's attention and see if we have any interest. I didn't know. I know before we have purchased the toys for the different age groups. And I apologize, I don't know if we're doing that this year or not, but We just thought maybe if the Rotary wanted to be involved that way with the chamber, that we can maybe do that partnership depending on how everyone felt about that.
Does anyone know if the church is doing their Christmas giveaway this year?
Yes, they're planning to do it,
Okay,
but I will get more information.
okay. And if anybody wants to bring a toy to donate to that and you want to bring it to the meeting, I'll make sure that it gets to the chamber.
Mm.
I can actually look at that also.
Yeah, I thought maybe, I mean, we can do it just as individuals, or I didn't know if the club, we wanted to do something either way. That's perfectly fine, or not. That's okay too. We just thought we would just let everyone know that it's out there if anyone was interested.
Katrina, should the toys be wrapped or just in the box purchase?
Now he didn't really say. That's a good question. I would say not wrapped.
Okay.
Just so then they can tell boy, girl, if they're, I'm not sure how the Salvation Army will divide those, if it'll be, by age or just by interest. So I'm not sure. So I would say unwrapped would be fine.
Okay, anybody have any questions or comments?
It'd be nice if the club donated. Last year we did House of Carpenters that we got it. Right. We did Katrina and Patty both bought the food last year. Thanks, I reimbursed them each $250, $500 last year. That was on December 5th when I reimbursed them. We're doing that same 500 this year. We've always done before. I've always been 500 for that.
Well, before we go and make a decision on that, we need to figure out how they're doing it. Again, it's the giveaway.
Okay, Bonnie,
So-
if you could check on that for us.
On the church, check on how they're doing it, if they're still wanting money.
I'll find
Because that has been something we've always done.
Right.
But I'm not saying that we can't do something like that either, but until we find out
Okay.
what they're doing.
Okay, we'll table this till next week. Bonnie can let us know what's going on, and then we can have a little bit of a further discussion. If the club wants to donate money, I don't have a problem going and purchasing toys either with, if it's a monetary donation or something like that, I don't have a problem with
We
that.
purchased toys last year.
Yeah,
The 500.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I said, depending on how they're
If
doing.
they want money instead of toys.
Right, if they want, we're gonna do whichever. Katrina, does that work?
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me. Whatever I think it was Linda Miller and I both have worked on that last year. We did the for the House of Carpenter, and I'd be happy to do that again this year too. I just want to throw it out there just that the chamber's offering that. So I think stick with what we've always done too, and then if depending on what that looks like, I think that's a good idea. But no obligation, just throwing it out there.
Katrina, when do the toys have to be to you guys?
So probably we're collecting them till the 13th. Is that what he said? The 13th?
the 13th.
Yeah. Yes, till the 13th. And it's not, it's not like the Rotary Club would, if we're looking for any kind of like shout out or mention. I'm sure Scott would do that if we asked him to, but that's not really. It's just purely a donation. So I'm not sure. There's no really like return for the Rotary for that either. Just to keep that in mind.
Okay, Ashley was going to talk to us a few minutes about the recruiting here and now Zoom that she was participating
Yeah,
in.
I joined I think it was on Monday evening, and it was hosted by Rebecca Hun, who is our member chair, or district member chair. Still learning all these positions, find out a new position in Rotary every day, so it's pretty cool. Sean was on there, Sawyer, our district governor, is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. And so basically they were just talking about some local clubs that have added a ton of members since July 1st. And they So Rebecca had interviewed them to find out how they were getting new members through COVID, through virtual meetings. So I'm just going to touch on a couple of the things, but it seemed like every club was open to change. They had to be open to change, and obviously change does not happen overnight. Some of these plans that they put in place took up to 5 years for their club to completely change their dynamic. So we just have to be open to change, and they changed their time. I know we discussed maybe having a evening meeting for more people to participate. A lot of the clubs offered different times. They would do one lunch meeting a month, one evening meeting a month, and maybe one virtual meeting. Another club that added 8 new members since July 1st, this was Weston. They divided into little committees that just worked on a specific project. So we kind of take like our whole entire club and divide it up into small entities that just focus on a project each, and they were a little bit more successful that way. They found out that a lot of people wanted to do good, wanted to join Rotary, they just didn't have the time. So when they found that they could focus on one project throughout the whole entire year, it seemed a lot more doable for them. There are 2 more meetings that are going to be coming up. I think the next one's on November 2nd, and then one to follow 2 weeks after that. All you have to do, there's a link sent out through an email. You just have to ask for them to give you a link, and you join on. This was an odd takeaway, but I wanted to share this with you. So there was about 30 people on at one point, and you know, I'm new to Rotary, so I learned a lot just to learn to meet everybody. But I took an observation, and I just want to share this with everybody. And I think our club's a little different in this way, that when I look around this room, I see a lot of diversity. I see a lot of different ages and a lot of different females and males. On this call with 30 Zoomers, there was only 4 women. I also was a baby on this call. I'm 40 years old, and I felt like I was in diapers. So that being said, I think that, you know, we need to definitely focus on diversity. That was something that they welcomed, people of different ethnicities, different races, genders, different things like that. And also that we also want to approach people that this is a great business networking. Not only are we doing good for our community, but you also can kind of support your own business as well through this. So that was just some of the takeaways that I had from it. They shared a bunch of slides, information, ways to change, different things like that. So I'd be happy if anybody's interested, or if we get together and do like a meeting with some of the chairs or something, to just talk about this. I have a recipe for changing club culture, and then how to set up the hybrid club meetings, so different times, stuff like that. So very, very informative. It sparked a fire in me. It made me really excited. It made me really proud to be a member of Rotary, and just want to share it with more people. I think we do a good job about talking about it, but we can always talk about it more.
Becky is our program on the I saw that. Does anybody have any questions for Ashley?
Thank you for participating.
Yes, thank you. Sharon, you wanted to talk a few minutes about grandparents?
Just a minute. Right now we're at about 55 gifts, I think. I talked to Brittany this morning, and she thinks that West Bend will do $1,000. She knows 500 for sure, but she's 99% sure. But I'm not going to purchase hundreds of dollars worth of stuff on those 99%. So hopefully she'll find that out soon. I'm afraid with COVID, we run out of things because our appliance suppliers sometimes run short. So right now we're at 55, we need more. And if you still need to pay, don't forget to give me your money.
And the Baylor said that we would do the animals. And something else.
It's $30, right? Yes.
Do you want me to contact family? I know we took what?
Yes, would you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sharon, if you would like to introduce our speaker today.
I forgot to get information from you.
I think you could probably win this one pretty well.
Well, I can wing it because I've known our speaker longer than anyone else on earth.
Katrina asked if it was Brittany or Shelley said $1,000. She can follow up on that.
Well, I've been in 8 months longer than anyone else. Because a true Vagabond savvy came out early and wanted to get moving with life. And it's been fun to watch him. He's changed a lot. He's been in a lot of different things over the years. But this chef thing, who knew that he was going to grow up and create this amazing food? But he does own the Vagabond Kitchen in Wheeling. I think most of you have been there. If not, you need to go. He's a wonderful chef and has a great team up there working to make this a wonderful restaurant. He's involved in things all over the state, so we'll let him tell you all about what he's doing. Please welcome Matt Welch.
Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you being here to listen to me speak about things that hopefully I know a little bit about. Hello, everyone online. It's good to see you all as well. I did grow up here in Marshall County, out in Limestone and Glendale. I graduated from John Marshall in 1995, so now you know everything about me and I can go home. It's funny, whenever I've been in the rest of the world, people ask where I'm from, and I always say I'm around Wheeling, West Virginia, but when I'm here, they ask where I'm from, and they get it down to the lane. And they really do know everything about me. As soon as I turned 18, I left the area, and I went to Pittsburgh, and I started traveling and exploring as much as I could, and just slowly over time, radiated further and further away from home and checking out the world and what all it had to offer. And eventually, after many, many years, that landed me in Idaho, cooking at a lodge called Galena. I worked there for 4.5 years. I was a sous chef, and I made a lot of soup and chili. And that may sound boring, but I learned a lot about food from making soup and chili. I learned a lot about what flavors went together and just how to utilize what we had on hand, which was something that I really enjoyed. In the kitchen, we try really, really hard not to ever waste anything. So if it looks like it's not ready, it can't hit the salad bar anymore because it's starting to wilt a little bit, it's still going to be great in soup. So that was a great opportunity, and I had a really good time there. But after 4.5 years of working in this seasonal job that we closed down for 4 months a year when tourist season was slow, it was a very small group of folks, about 12 of us lived and worked there. And the owners ran the front of the house and the back of the house. So at sous chef, which is the vice president of the kitchen, there was nowhere else to go unless I knocked them off, and I didn't really want to do that. So I put together everything that I really enjoyed: traveling, photography, writing, food, and motorcycle. And I started the Vagabond Chef Project. And in 2013, I rode my bike 13,000 miles around the country, exploring over 60 different restaurants and culinary communities. And I would talk to them about what they were doing, how they were doing it, and why they were doing it that way. And at the end of that year, I had the great opportunity to bring all that experience and knowledge back home. And I opened the Vagabond Kitchen in 2014. We've been operating in downtown Wheeling ever since. So that's super exciting and leads me directly into our mission statement at the Vagabond Kitchen, which is handcrafted food rooted in local community. And that really sums up everything, but there's a lot packed in there. And today I'd really like to focus on the food side of all that. So what is handcrafted food? Well, I hate to be negative, but let's start off with what it's not. A lot of restaurants now are getting their food pre-made, or it's coming canned or frozen or made in bulk, and there's nothing wrong with that. It serves a purpose, it needs to happen, and it's a commodity. That's totally fine. However, it can be better, and it's like, you're not going to eat at a 5-star restaurant every day, or you're not going to cook at home every day, but those things should be part of your life experience. In my experience, mass-produced food doesn't taste as good. It's not as fresh. And one of my passions is local economy, and that's sending all of our money out of our community. I feel like we can do better. So with handcrafted food, we're using the freshest possible ingredients, and that may mean we're getting canned or frozen product. And I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that everything came right out of a garden. That's not realistic. But it is as fresh as we can possibly get. And we are getting it in its rawest possible form, and we're transforming it into real food. So we're making our dressings, we're making our soups and chilies on site. We're making chutneys and relishes and things that will top our food. We're utilizing local meat, local butchers. Again, so it's all as fresh as possible, so it's a high quality product. And I think the value of that is, you know, while the other food can help you survive, it'll get you through your day, it'll give you the energy to keep working. This food helps you thrive, and it engage you, and you're engaging in quality, and you're really, I feel like you're making your life better by participating in this interaction with real healthy food. It is hard, and that's another reason why places exist that use the pre-made product, because it takes a certain level of skill, it takes more work. Our payroll is probably higher than it should be in a restaurant because there's a lot of man hours going into producing the food, cutting the food up, and especially when we're utilizing local product, you know, it's not all the same size, it's not all the same level of ripeness, it's not, you know, there's a lot of things that aren't homogenized because it doesn't come out of the ground that way. Eggs don't come out of the chicken all the same shape. So we work with that a lot, and there's adjustments that'll need made. I talk a lot about the appreciation of techniques versus recipes, because with a recipe, you follow the directions and you expect the same thing every time, but you don't actually get the same thing every time. So you have to have the technique down and understand why it works the way it does so that you can adjust. And I believe that whether or not you like something, you know when it's good. You know, like I'm not a big fan of yellow curry, but I can make a curry cauliflower soup that's really tasty, and I know it's good. So I think that you have that experience with real food. A lot of times we'll have a situation in the restaurant where someone will take a bite of their food and they will have a physical reaction. They'll rock back in their seat. They'll sigh. Their eyes will get big. Sometimes they'll let out a cuss word, which is when I know I'm really doing it right. And that kind of reaction is what we're looking for. That is one of the best things that I can see, one of the best compliments that I can get in the restaurant. The other one is hearing that I would never try this, but I will because you made it. Like that, nothing warms my heart more than that level of trust with our customers. And we do get that a lot. And we try to offer things that aren't scary to folks, that are accessible, but also that push the boundaries a little bit, because you're not going to see food like this in other places near here. You're gonna have to go to Pittsburgh or Columbus. And my whole goal with my traveling was to bring those experiences and what I learned back home and share with my friends and family and everyone in my community. So I believe that handcrafted food is important because it's real. You know, and really one of the biggest things to me, outside of the quality and the freshness and how much better it tastes, is that we're keeping that money in our local community. And nothing to me is more West Virginian or Appalachian than helping out my neighbor. And if I can buy tomatoes from Philadelphia and get my meat processed in Martins Ferry, I mean, that's just adding wins to the steps. So not only are you getting a better experience by consuming this food, but we're helping keep local kids in band and going to school and, you know, all that stuff too. So to me, that is super, super important. There are some other ways that we work with local food and economy. One of them being that I received a $25,000 grant from the Department of Agriculture to do a project focused on specialty crops farmers in our state. And what we're going to do with that is a 12-episode web-based docuseries. Each episode will focus on a different farm in our state, and then we will show the process of developing a recipe based on the ingredient that we picked from that farm, and we will offer that plate in the restaurant for the month that the show airs. So it'll be great marketing for the farmers, and I feel like that's one of my big jobs too, is I want to make these farmers look good. I want you to want to go buy those tomatoes or get your meat at Jacob & Sons or Miklas. And it will also hopefully drive traffic into the restaurant. And whenever people are coming into my restaurant, they're also coming into downtown Wheeling, and they're also coming into West Virginia. So again, it's wins all around. So we were working on that this year. Obviously, this year got a little weird, but we're still getting footage in the can, and hopefully we'll be releasing starting next year. We've got 6 farms filmed so far. I still need to develop the recipes for that, and then we need to get the other 6 farms scheduled, which actually ties back in, if I can step back a little bit, to another problem with using local food is we have a pretty short growing season here. The high tunnels across the state have really helped elongate that a little bit, and we can get a pretty amazing amount of produce early and late in the season now, much more than before. But one of the things that we'll touch upon in the show, and that I think is also very important, are heritage preservation techniques. And I'm really interested in controlled fermentation and canning and things like that. I do believe we tend to rely a little too heavily on that freezer. You know, what happens if the power goes out, we don't have a generator, and we lose all that food. And I have gone through that experience as a business owner several times, and it's horrible. The other thing I'm doing outside of the restaurant and the grant to work on this mission is I'm pulling together a group of culinarians across the state called West Virginia Cooks. And it is other, a lot of them are not owners, they're more on the ground, boots on the ground chefs and cooks who are invested in making heritage food, following those techniques and recipes. And we're hoping to really expand the marketing of why this is important and get people kind of on board. Because one thing, it's great, it's easy for me to talk about how great my parents are, and they are. You guys, I will know them, you know that they're awesome. I can talk about how great they are, but it's so much better if they talk about how great I am than if I stand up here and talk about how great I am. So in West Virginia Cooks, we can all promote each other and we can raise all of us up together, which is another theme that I like to hold on to, is that a rising tide raises all the ships. So hopefully we're working right now, we're planning a dinner series for next year that will range across the state with different pairings of chefs at different locations doing multi-course prefix meals with local product, heritage recipes, and utilize that as a platform to start generating interest in the group. And we've also been talking about doing some demonstrations, possibly on Facebook Live or something like that, to show other people how easy it is to do a lot of this stuff. I think it's daunting. You get this huge squash from the farmer's market, and what do I do with this thing? And it's not that hard, but if you don't know, you don't know. And also to show the enjoyment that we get out of cooking the food, because a lot of times I think we're all very, very busy. We have a lot going on in our lives, and we tend to look at food as this like an obligation, like, I have to eat. No, you get to eat. You get to eat something awesome. You can make this food with your family. You know, maybe not every day. Maybe you set aside Sunday as a food day and you make food for the week, or, you know, you eat on it a couple times that week or something. But make it, enjoy the process, get into figuring out caramelizations and roasting and all these things it's amazing. It's like chemistry and science, and it's an art and a skilled trade, and it's all, and you get to eat it at the end. Like, it doesn't get much better. You can even pair it with beer or wine. Like, it's got all the things. So obviously I'm very passionate about this stuff, and I wandered around for 20 years trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, and was pretty comfortable not knowing, but I'm really excited to be doing something that I believe in and that fires me up and that I can give back to my community with. It's really cool. So that's about what I got. If you guys have any questions, I am at your mercy.
Are you open full time now?
Right now we're doing Wednesday through Sunday, 11. Well, no, they're all wonky. We were doing 7 days a week, 10 to 10, because it was easy to remember. But now, because of COVID, we've had to really limit our overhead. So we're open Wednesday and Thursday, 11 to 8. Friday and Saturday, we stay open later until 10. And on Sunday, we're doing brunch from 11 to 3. So we're not open on Monday or Tuesday right now.
Do you do takeouts on Monday or Tuesday, or?
No, we do. Actually, Tuesday, we're working with Grow High Valley to do food for the community. So we focus on that on Tuesday, but our front doors are not open on Monday and Tuesday.
Where can somebody go around here? Pretty good cook, but to go and get like to learn more, any classes, or if you ever thought about teaching classes, where you can go to that next level, those kind of those things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
My wife likes to cook a lot. She would love to be able to go kind of take that to the next level, to learn how to prepare things and to create things like the little things that you make.
Right. Classes actually have historically been brought up a lot to me, and I would love to be able to do that at some point. I don't have the space for it in my restaurant, but Northern sometimes has open to the community classes, and they've got a fantastic culinary department. Also, I'm looking into possibly doing like web-based demonstrations, but that would be a little bit further down the road as well. And my friends Michael Brown and Ann Hart just reopened. They had Provence Market down in Bridgeport, and they burnt down at the end of last year, which, if you're going to burn your restaurant down, great timing. So they just reopened Hart Kitchen in Clarksburg, and part of that will be a cooking school. I know it's a little far to go, but
Got a fantastic idea, which is web-based.
Yeah.
You can put out ahead of time, you need to buy these ingredients,
Mhm.
and then cook them. You need to have these things, and then cook alongside, or somebody.
Yeah, and there
Whatever,
are,
and then you can have, you don't need the space. You just,
Right.
you know what I mean? You can have 100 people on there.
and I'm right now I'm remodeling my house on top of everything else. And one of the things I'm trying to do is get the kitchen really dialed in and set it up in such a way that it would be really easy to put a camera up and do that sort of thing. But there are other online cooking classes available now. I subscribe to master classes every year, and they've got a plethora of amazing courses, a lot of them in cooking, but also in science and acting and writing and leadership and all kinds of really great things. And I know there are at least a couple other ones as well that you can find online and kind of see the demonstration aspect. And then it's just a matter of doing it and not being afraid to make mistakes, because we all make mistakes, and that's how we learn.
Do you do certain specials on certain days there right now with the COVID, or?
We haven't been doing as many specials and features as we were prior to the pandemic, but we are still doing that. We try to do something special on the weekend. And we've been trying to bring back soups and chilies and that sort of thing as it's getting colder.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. It's been a while. I need to get back to your restaurant. Every time I've been there, it's been amazing.
Thank you.
So do you have like a rotating menu, or do you have a menu that stays firm and then add a couple of specials?
It was the same menu for way, way too long. Now we're breaking it up again. And this has been a great opportunity with the pandemic, is that we've been able to kind of really look at everything while things have been slowed down. Like what can we change? What can we do better? What are we really strong in that we can stand out by doing? And I think changing the menu up quarterly or something like that would be a really good idea. And it won't be a rotating menu as much as it will be like items will come and go. You know, because everyone's got their favorite thing, but we just can't do all the things all the time. And I have a big fear of missing out problem, and I want to do all the things, but it just doesn't work that way. So the menu does change like occasionally, and the goal with that is so that we can keep everything as fresh as possible and not throw food away.
What's your favorite?
My favorite on my menu? Well, that's hard. It's like picking between your kids. Well, we do a lot of burgers and macaroni and cheese.
Even not on your menu, what do you?
Oh, well, my all-time favorite food is pizza. I'm basic. Well, I wanted to kind of bring that up. People say all the time, like, oh, I don't want to cook for you. You're a chef. Like, look, if you want to make me food, I'm going to be so happy. You know, like the mechanic doesn't want to go home and change his own oil all the time. I certainly, when I'm just cooking for me, I'm not above opening a can of baked beans and eating it straight out of the can. I don't care. I get really into cooking for other people. And when other people cook for me, I love that communal aspect of it. So I love pizza. I always have. I think it's been my favorite food since I was a little kid. But on our menu, we really focus in on burgers and macaroni and cheese because two reasons. Those are very popular right now. There's something that we can do to a high level of quality. We make our own beer cheese to make the macaroni and cheese with. And also, both of those are really good mediums for a lot of different flavors. So we add a lot of different things to the burgers or to the macaroni and cheese just to make them a little more interesting. So you can get a basic burger, but you can also get a burger that's rubbed in a coffee rub and has caramelized onions and wilted greens and Havarti cheese on it, like something a little different.
I like the burgers.
Thank you. They're ground steak from Jacob & Sons, so they're as fresh as can be, and we've been working with them for 3.5 years now.
Do you come to houses and cook?
Well,
Can we hire you out?
I do. Yeah, I have done special events and cooked off-site for several folks. Obviously, you know, there's a price involved, but I'm more than happy to do the things if we can get there. And we cater as well. So we do, you know, we've been doing a lot of smaller parties and events, obviously recently, but that's another great way to get out there and do different things and connect with different people.
I was talking about not wasting things and different flavors, and he has an uncanny knack for matching flavors that go well together. But a couple years ago, New Year's, it was a big New Year's dinner, and we had so many leftovers. And I said, I don't know what to do with all these leftovers. And I said, I'll make soup. So he made soup out of a pork roast and mashed potatoes. When you put mashed potatoes in soup, it's where you put potatoes in soup, right? Well, yeah. And it's thickening and it's potatoes, okay. But the gravy, I was like, ew. He says, well, it's thickening. I mean, what do you think thickening is? Oh, okay, fine. So we had, I don't remember, corn and beans.
Pork stew.
Yeah. It was one of the most delicious soups I have ever eaten. And I honestly would never have thought about this. So we kind of learned, it's like, oh, maybe we can just put this in a soup.
You can make soup out of almost anything. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you.
Really appreciate it. Great.
Hey, Ashley, can you guys hear me?
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
You're okay.
Matt, can you, sorry, this is Brianna Hickman. I'm the club secretary. If you can send me a headshot and a description of what you just talked about for our newsletter, I would super appreciate it.
Okay.
Your mom has my contact information if that'll help.
She'll make sure I follow up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys, does anybody else have anything that we needed to discuss? That I overlooked and all like crazy. I didn't have to dodge corners this time. It was like a straight shot over and back. I was having a puff when I got back, but it's all right. Anybody? Okay, thank you. Meeting adjourned, guys. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good
Bye,
day.
Have a good day.
December 10th.